Tri-State Triumphs, sponsored by Good Samaritan Home of Quincy.
I worked with the football team all 4 years as basically an undergrad student recruiting assistant. And then towards my senior year, I decided I wanted to go to law school. And it was during the financial crisis. So I decided to get out of Missouri and try something different. Applied to law school across the country, wound up in California, of all places, which I know you'll appreciate, Chris. And ended up not making my way back to Missouri. So I got an internship with UCLA in compliance after my second year of law school, and I was there for a year during my third year. And then, I got a full-time job at UC Davis, and I was there for about a year and a half, and then I've been at Cal for 5 years.
For people who don't understand, basically what is a day like in compliance, and what's your main job function for people on the outside looking in?
Maybe the best way to put it is the NCAA has all these rules, right? And so it's my job, or our office's job in compliance, to make sure everyone is following those rules. Student athletes, coaches, all athletic department staff members. So we have 900 student athletes at Cal. Part of that is keeping them eligible, and not necessarily academically. There's other things that come into play, but we file about 50 waivers a year with NCAA, which is a large number, respectively speaking, across the country. There's a million rules, and so it's my job to help navigate everyone to make sure we're doing things to keep ourselves in line with that.
Just for you, how satisfying is that then, being a former athlete and getting a chance to kind of, I'm sure as you see it, help them on their way to whatever's next?
The Cal student athletes, they're incredibly intelligent. They're some of the most intelligent people I've ever been around, and they're 18, 19, 20 years old, obviously. And so it's really fun, and I take a lot of joy out of seeing them pursue all of their endeavors, both on the field and off the field. And so I interact with the student athletes pretty heavily. With 900, I don't interact with all of them, and our office is kind of split up by team. But I met with a football student athlete yesterday who's starting a nonprofit and a charity, and there's some rules we have to navigate around that. So it's a lot of fun. They're doing good things. They're good people. They have some really amazing endeavors, and it's fun to be able to help them navigate that and pursue what they want to do.
It is sort of a proud tradition too, because I look at you were there, and every time I hear Jaylen Brown speak, I'm blown away by just how erudite that young man is, his worldview, and there is a sense of real pride in sending these great Cal exports out into the world. There,
100%. They're people that contribute to the world and really make a difference. And Jaylen is a prime example of that. And he's one of the nicest human beings that you could ever be around. And he cares probably more about, worldly important issues than he does about the game of basketball. And I don't say that to mean he doesn't care about basketball, because obviously he does. He's a amazing basketball player. It's really cool to see, and I think that's probably what makes Cal such a fun place to work at, is you have these, they're worldwide leaders is who they are.
What kind of things in terms of personal resolve and discipline and all of the things that have kind of contributed to your success now, you glean from your days in Cougar athletics?
I think the first thing is I had really demanding coaches in high school, in both football, basketball, and track. A lot of those things that we went through in high school, I still remember we probably practiced harder than any team in the tri-state area. And I would say that, for the next 20 years, but it's every day was just, with both coaches I had, it was just like we went, 110% and nothing left in the tank by the end of practice. And so, that's just kind of the mindset that that we instilled, and everybody worked hard. And, I've kind of, because of that, it's been ingrained, and I've, taken it and tried to run with it. And at this point, it's probably a little bit more second nature.
What piece of advice would you share, Ben? What was kind of the most important and salient piece of advice you've been given, or at least this discovery you've made along the way in your path?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say probably being proactive, and that's something I've done. The first day I was on campus in Mizzou, my freshman year, I moved into the dorms, and I walked straight over to the football office and said, "Hey, I want to work with the team." And they were like, "Well, what do you want to do?" I said, "Whatever you guys want me to do, just tell me." But it wasn't posted anywhere. I literally walked into the office. And then same thing with, I'm interning at UCLA. They didn't have an internship, posted, but I sent out my resume to every Division I school on the West Coast, and they called me back the next day. So, I think it's always not being afraid to take the initiative and be proactive. The worst thing somebody can say is no, and that's fine. You can move to the next door.
So what's next for you? I mean, obviously, you sound incredibly happy, but I know you're a guy who's always been kind of attuned to opportunity, and especially opportunities, which I think is really a credit to you, that fit the things that you want to do. You're a guy who's always been driven to things and not set limits and fit into a box. I'm going to do the things that I enjoy.
I think ultimately, probably long-term view, obviously, I'm kind of on a path to hopefully be an athletic director someday. That's not going to happen, in the next, 5 to 7 years, but maybe the 15-year window is probably a little bit more appropriate. But yeah, I'm committed and I'm loyal, and I've been at Cal 5 years and I love it. But I also, I think the next step would be probably something a more maybe sport specific. And again, I work with football, and I oversee the day-to-day operations of our compliance office. But with kind of where college athletics has developed the last 5 years, football and basketball specifically are kind of on their own track, so to speak. And I think we could see that develop a little more in the coming years. And so, yeah, I think being a little bit more intimate, working with one of those two sports would probably be my next step. So